LeBron James' legacy? Where does he rank among the NBA's elite players of all time? Talk to you soon. Welcome to On Fire with Matthew Maurer. With the NBA Finals about to take place, I've been flooded with the emails, Twitter chats, anything you can name from the social media hemisphere, my phone, people wanting to know if LeBron James wins another NBA title, where does he rank among the NBA's elite players of all time? And sadly, a lot of people aren't going to like my conversation. It's honest. I still don't have him in my top five. My top five right now is Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, and perhaps Larry Bird, which you could also, I think, replace with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, depending on what kind of day I'm having. Make no mistake about it, LeBron James, before everything's said and done, he very well could be a top 3 NBA talent of all time. The thing that people seem to misunderstand about LeBron James is not that I'm hating on him, because unfortunately in today's society, whenever you say something that goes against the masses, there's unfortunately an attitude or should I say condition where people will throw on you that you're hating on them or that you're just mad. It's nothing like that at all. I look at LeBron James and I marvel at the kind of talent he has. But let's be honest, when you're comparing him the greatest of all time, can I really put him in the greatest of all time discussion? And then I guess the number one question you have to ask yourself, if we're talking about the greatest of all time, then that means you're saying that LeBron James could go into a gym and take Michael Jordan. He could go into a gym, take Magic Johnson. I mean, I don't know if that's true. I really don't, and I'm not trying to be a smartass. I'm being dead honest. I don't know if that's true. I mean, can he beat Kobe Bryant one-on-one? I mean, people for some reason seem to feel that Kobe Bryant isn't worthy in that conversation. Let me tell you something. If Kobe Bryant played LeBron James one-on-one in their prime, LeBron James is going to get that work. Believe that. Believe that. He's going to get that work. Anybody who tells you anything else is a fraud. LeBron James, if he had to take in prime Kobe Bryant, he's going to get that work. Best believe it. And anybody who tells you anything differently, I'm sorry, I don't respect your basketball knowledge. I don't. Okay? Kobe Bryant has perhaps one of the nastiest skill sets at his position. And guess who's the only rival to Kobe Bryant? Michael Jordan. They play the same position, and that's the only thing that keeps Kobe Bryant from being the best shooting guard of all time is Michael Jordan. Oscar Robertson, again, was another one of those guys waiting triple-double to happen. And people don't realize the triple-double was actually a lot harder to get in Oscar Robertson's time because of the assists, the way the NBA kept the assists at that time. At that time, a player almost had to shoot the ball as soon as they were past it. If they took a couple dribbles or whatever, like in today's NBA game, you were not awarded an assist. So when you look at Oscar Robertson's numbers, they're quite mind-blowing. But let's be honest about why LeBron James isn't ranked there. And I'm just gonna come out. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, the main reason why LeBron James isn't in that discussion as the best of all time, and probably why he will never be, is because he set his own deck. And I know what people are going to say. So before you flood me with all your dumb replies, yes, he was a free agent. Yes, he made the choice that he wanted to make. Yes, I agree. I'm not going to hold it against him. But I have to when you're talking about the best of all time. Are you kidding me? How can I not? What did Wilt move? Did Magic move? Did Michael move? And I'm talking about Wilt. I obviously I know he moved, but I'm saying, before he won that title, did he move? No. People can say whatever they want to say. That's the facts. You gotta judge it from that standpoint, and then you have to judge it from the next standpoint. After he got his crew, okay, they lost to the Dallas Mavericks. I don't care what anybody gonna tell you. Kobe Bryant ain't losing to the Dallas Mavericks that year. Michael Jordan isn't losing to the Dallas Mavericks that year. And anybody who wants to tell me differently, well, you know what I can kiss, and I'm sitting on it, because I don't believe that for a fact of nothing. There's no way you're going to convince me that a Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls team, a Kobe Bryant Los Angeles Lakers team, a Magic Johnson Lakers team is going to lose to Dallas Mavericks. I'm sorry. Look at the team. You look at that team and you tell me that's a championship caliber team. If you're telling me that, I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you, because there's no way you're going to convince me that you saw that team, that it looked like a championship team. I'm sorry. I ain't buying it. Don't even try it. Okay? And then let's talk about the next thing you got to talk about. Again, another unpopular conversation, but it has to be said. Who does LeBron play? Who has he played? Who's his rival? It's like the Roy Jones theory. Roy Jones in boxing, he was the light heavyweight of the world. People said, oh, he's the best light heavyweight, but he didn't have anybody to box. And he wouldn't play the guys that he wouldn't fight guys like Bernard Hopkins. So it never, his career is it's like Rocky Marciano. Yeah, everybody knows Rocky Marciano was one of the best heavyweights of all time, but listen, he played in a dead heavyweight era. I mean, that's the facts. Either the heavyweights are going out of their prime when he was in there, or there wasn't, or they were too young when he left. I mean, whether anybody wants to admit it or not, Magic had the Boston Celtics. Michael Jordan had the Boston Celtics, Magic, and the Detroit Pistons Bad Boys. Wilt had Bill Russell, and Oscar had, the Celtics and the Lakers. So where's LeBron's struggle? I mean, I maybe I'm one of the rare people, but I just don't see it. Who did he play to build himself up? And I'm sorry, you that's the, whether people want to admit that or not, part of defining a legacy is seeing who they played. And LeBron James, whether anybody wants to, and again, it's not his fault, but there's no one there. Who did he play that was a legit rival? I mean, the Boston Celtics, I guess you could say that, but they're no offense to Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, but I mean, come on, they're not going to athletically be able to match LeBron James. It's a no-win situation. And then the final thing that, again, is going to piss people off about why LeBron James is not considered the best player of all time. He ain't a killer. He ain't a killer. I mean, that's just a fact. And then people that, I see people on Twitter and I see these apologists that want to tell me about the glory of LeBron James and how he's so unselfish and all this other BS. Listen, man. Listen. LeBron James does not want the ball at the end of the game. He doesn't. He doesn't. I mean, part of being a star is to know when to turn it on. It's to know when you're Magic Johnson and you got to throw that hook against the Boston Celtics. It's Michael Jordan making those last-second shots against the Cleveland Cavs, the Utah Jazz. Whether people want to be honest, that's what it's about. Everything else, you can have 10 assists, but if you didn't make the 10th point to win your team the game, it don't matter. Maybe I'm wrong about that to a degree, but I think that's why the Utah Jazz lost like they did. They didn't have that second player that can go get their shot. They had Karl Malone and they had John Stockton, but it was predicated on that system, that pick and roll. And that's exactly why the San Antonio Spurs aren't going to win. They don't have that second player that can go get baskets. And no matter what people tell you, yeah, Tony Parker gets it in occasionally, but let's be honest. Tim Duncan is the heart of that team. If Tim Duncan isn't having a good game, Tony Parker's going to have a phenomenal game for them to win. So, those are just three things off the top of my head right now that LeBron is why he's not in that top five. And let me say one more thing about the new age of documentaries we have. You know, you have people out here now, the documentary craze, thanks to the ESPN 30 for 30, really does an excellent job of giving you the backstory and telling things. But let's be real, man. Some of these 30 for 30s, they overhype certain things, man. I was there during the Detroit Pistons rule. I was there during, you know, the Michael Jordan rise and the Magic Johnson descent and you know, everything else. And why I agree with them, it's almost like the Len Bias conversation. You know, like Len Bias gets all this credit for that he would have been a phenomenal player. But, I mean, let's be honest, we don't know. We don't know if he would have been a phenomenal player. And really, that's the tragedy in Len Bias, that we don't know. And unfortunately, a lot of people like to put Len Bias up as though, you know, he's you know, would have been a superstar. And we don't know that. We just know that the data, thanks to what we've seen in college and what we thought, said that he could probably translate into a star. But, I mean, we honestly don't know that. Same thing with Ben Wilson. You know, we don't know. He could have very well went to college and just been an average player. I mean, we don't know. We just know that based on what we saw, like he was going to be a phenomenal pro player. And I know I'm getting off topic a little bit with the LeBron legacy, but I think, unfortunately, for a lot of young people and a lot of people who maybe didn't have that history, LeBron is what they've seen, and what they've seen is what they know. They didn't, like, to them, LeBron is an excellent finisher. And he is. But, I mean, he ain't no Dominique. You know, he ain't no Michael Jordan on the baseline. And these are things that I saw, you know, growing up, you know, Dr. J and all these other people. And let me say one more thing. People need to give Wilt Chamberlain due. I don't care if you don't like the numbers. I don't care if you say that he played in the era where there wasn't other big men. Man, please. Wilt Chamberlain was a monster. He was a beast. Yeah, he probably wouldn't put up 50 points a game in today's game. I'm not saying he would, but I'm saying you this. When the Celtics played him, don't you know, Bill Russell gets all this credit for shutting, you know, Wilt Chamberlain down, which he really didn't shut Wilt Chamberlain down. It was really a team effort, and they still didn't shut him down. So all that talk is just talk at the end of the day. And you know, a lot of the old timers give Bill Russell this magical wand of excellence, and maybe it's one of those things where it's what I'm talking about with the youth, that they didn't see Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins. So maybe it's I'm suffering from that as well. But to me, Bill Russell, based on the film I've seen, based on just, you know, whatever I can get my hands on with Bill Russell, I'm impressed with him as a person. I think he was in an excellent situation. However, I think Wilt Chamberlain was superior to him. And I don't even think it's close. I think, to borrow a line from KRS-One, I think Wilt Chamberlain was number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 center in the NBA, with Bill Russell being 6. And that may be crazy to some people, but let me tell you something. If you go out there and you really look up Wilt Chamberlain's numbers and you look up his ability and his athleticism, it's on par with today's guys. You're not talking about a plodding 7'2" guy. You're talking about a guy that would run with guards on the break. You're talking about a guy who, you know, had tremendous athleticism vertically and you know, could cover the floor, and I mean, great out of position rebounder, great position rebounder. I mean, there was tons of things Wilt Chamberlain could do. I mean, it's off the charts. So you got to let those numbers go, man. You got to give the man credit. And the most important thing I can tell people to do with LeBron James is stop trying to make him better than Michael Jordan. Stop trying to make him better than Magic or Bird or anything else. Let's sit back. Let's enjoy LeBron James for the unique talent that he is. I mean, LeBron James is a unique talent. Can't take nothing away from him. He's special, and that kind of special. That kind of special doesn't come around every year. Doesn't come around every 5 years, and you'll be lucky if it comes around every decade. So let's just enjoy what we have. That's all the time we have today. Again, please continue to send me your email questions. I'll try to get back to you, let you know what I think about things, or maybe I'll shoot a video like I did today. Look forward to hearing from you guys. Subscribe, share. Thanks again. Talk to you soon.